Why you need to take gains in retirement. All right, so I'm reading this, but I'm done with it now. This book from 1988 is published, Money in Class in America by this guy, Lewis Lapham. Very interesting book. And in fact, it's quite funny because he talks about Donald Trump quite a bit. In fact, and again, this is 1988. In the United States, a rich man is perceived as being necessarily both good and wise, which is an absurdity that would be seen as such not only by a Frenchman, but also by a Russian communist, because back then communism was still large and in charge. And then he said, it's an absurdity not only seen by the socialists, but also by anybody who has had to listen to an after-dinner speech by Donald Trump to realize that's absurd that he's either good or wise. This was in 1988. I just had to chuckle. Now, he did a update on this, author's introduction, the new edition in 2018 after Trump was elected the first time, and this is actually pretty funny. It's a good book. It's a little bit long-winded, but I learned a lot from this book, actually. All right, so here's why you got to take gains. All right, before the markets opened on Monday of October 1987, the financial operatives employed in the money trades believed themselves to be standing on the safe and hallowed ground when reciting the catechism of their belief in unfettered free enterprise. If asked to make after-dinner speeches, they would have said unhesitantly, I can't say that. It was the government's duty to mind its own business, lower taxes, and stay off the backs of the people and leave the markets alone. By noon Monday, nobody was singing any more hymns to Mammon. Before the awful day ended, roughly $1 trillion of net worth had vanished as mysteriously as the last unicorns. Nobody, of course, knew where or why the money had went. No one had any idea where it went. It was just there on a balance sheet, and then it wasn't. So let's go over this real quick. And this is why you need to take gains. Here you got a company. All right, they're going to issue a share. They're like just company A, they got a share certificate, and they got no money in the bank. And you got 10 bucks in the bank, 10 bucks in the bank. They need money. They got to hire, Indian H-1B visa guys to make their company more profitable. They got to bring in a bunch of Somalians to get the government largesse from the Catholic charities and whatnot. So they need money. And they say, Josh, we're pretty profitable. We'll even be more profitable once we get this cheap labor from third world countries, but we need capital in order to recruit them. Will you buy our shares for 10 bucks? You said, yeah, I will. All right, so now they got 10 bucks. You got nothing, but you got a share. All right, and that share is going like that. It's supposed to be a share certificate. And you're seeing, hey, the company's getting more and more profitable. In fact, now people are buying these shares for 15. In fact, here comes I said, man, that company's getting more and more profitable. I want a piece of that. So I have 15 in the bank. I say, hey, I will buy your shares from you for 15. You're like, yeah, that's a 50% profit. Good on you. 50% increase. You say, I'll take that. So I buy it. I now have this share at 15. You have no shares, but you have 15 bucks in the bank. So you're freaking living large. You made a 50% profit on your initial investment. I get a share that's worth 15 bucks. Through the course of the next couple of years, people are buying and selling this share for 30. I'm like, sweet, I'm going to sit on it and sit on it and sit on it because my account statement says I got 30. I've doubled my money. I think I can double it again. Why not? These guys keep recruiting foreigners to come in and take American jobs, and they keep charging cheap labor, and offshoring is great. They take the largesse of the American economy, of the American land, and they sacrifice this for current profits. Is wonderful. The CEO is living large, flying on a private jet all over the world. It's great. Capitalism, baby. So my statement says I got 30 bucks. My net worth is 30 bucks on an investment of 15 bucks. Lo and behold, something happens. Whatever it happens, I don't know. We say, we're not going to allow any more immigration. We're going to go 1922, Calvin Coolidge. Put tariffs on and no more immigration. Remember, Calvin Coolidge was a right-winger's right-winger. Interesting. And we're going to say no more immigration, Calvin Coolidge. So now this $30 that I thought I'd be able to sell to the fourth party, I can't sell for 30. Not only can I not sell for 30, I can't sell it for 5. This guy says, yeah, I'll buy that stock from you, but I'm only going to pay $5 on it because I think the company's pretty risky. It's in a dire strait. I think it could come back, but I'm going to buy it but I'm only going to pay 5. So what happened to that $25 that was there? Well, it was never there. I was never able to lock it in. It was all paper gains. Now, I still have the share, and if I held on to it, it might come booming back. Look at what happened in General Electric. It was way up, went way down, and came storming back. You know what I'm saying? It could. I don't know. But the difference between a retiree and someone who's not retired is I need the money. I need the money to spend. I got a mortgage. I got property tax. I got to get new T-shirts. The difference between this guy, me, as a retiree, and this guy who's still working is I need that money. I need the cash. So that $30, well, it's really a $15 gain, is gone. My $15 is gone. The only thing I have to show for is $5. So whereas before I had a $30 net worth, now I got $5 net worth. And my spending is $10. I'm SOL. That's what happened. It just disappeared. Paper gains are only as good until you can liquidate them and put them into 15. The interesting thing is this guy's got 15, right? This share is trading at 5. He might say, who is it? Does it like Dave Portnoy, that clown? But I think he did. Didn't he sell his company and then turn around and bought it back for like nothing? I think that's what happened. Anyway, so this guy's saying, I got the cash. That stock went down to 5. I still like the company. I might buy the stock at 5. So he made a 50% gain. He said, I might buy it at 5. He might not. I don't know. But he had the cash in which to do it. I need the money, but I don't have it. It's gone. It's the paper gains, man. If you're retired, you can't allow paper. Just because your net worth says you're worth billions of dollars doesn't mean crap until you put it in cash. Because the only thing that pays the bills is cash. Anyway, so we'll end up with this right here. It's pretty interesting. Our American assumption that money rules the world is as fundamental as the titular enemies among its devoted friends. The socialist believes that money is malign, that only the power of the state can hold it safely in check. The capitalist believes that money must be set free, that only in the hands of the enlightened individuals will bestow the gifts of prosperity and production. Neither the socialist nor the capitalist believes that money can be safely left in the custody of ordinary, probably heathen and unwashed human beings. If money were not perceived as somehow divine, then why should it rouse the passions of the people who blame the world's suffering on, quote, the rich, the interests, the monopolists, the oil companies, the Jews, the robber barons, the nabobs, or the banks? The zealots who rage against the evils of wealth bear witness to their faith by their fervor in their blasphemy. Nothing so damages a socialist's faith in the experience of meeting a rich man. He could not bear the disappointment. Expecting to come face to face with Satan, he finds himself introduced to a small and frightened clerk, worried about his stomach and worried about his will. Man. What a great, anyways, good reading. Again, I learned a ton from this, and you might enjoy it. But take the gains, man. If you don't take them, they could go away. That's just fact. And only gains, cash, pays the bills. All right, God bless. Smash, love your thoughts.